use two in this case. So in this case, I'm going to be using two objects right here. So the first one will be for the initial state, and the second one will be for the changing the animation. So you will get what I'm talking about. But first of all, as an initial state, I want this animation to just get both of them. I'm going to just using our ternary operator right here, if that's equal to space. So if we just write a space, so we want to just get a space, and if that's not equal to space, we want to just get our key. Let's just duplicate that, or you know what, yeah, I'm gonna just duplicate that 2 times. So the ID will be key, or the class will be key, and then we have event dot. Let's just remove the other stuff. It will be now set to key code, and this one will be now set to just a code, simple code. I'm gonna write a code in here, and I'm gonna also put a small tag in here as well. So small, and then event dot key code. Copy that and paste it right here, and event dot code would be fine. And now if you save that, and now if I hit any key, and now here you can see it unlock uses the key name. Okay, so we are missing something right here, so copy that one, and I'm gonna paste it underneath that one, and this should be just a key. So if you save that, and now if I just hit A, so it unlock uses the key of A, the key code of 65, and the code will be just key A. If I hit B, it will unlock uses B and 66, and the key code will be B. C, D, E, F, G, and everything is working the way we expect them to work. Okay, so we have just interactive function or interactive project right here. So we are now totally done with this project as well. So and the code will be just key A. If I hit B, it will now uses B and 66, and the key code will be B. C, D, E, F, G, and everything is working the way we expect them to work. Okay, so we have just interactive function or interactive project right here. So we are now totally done with this project as well. So now the next project which we are going to be building is a simple calculator. So you already have a styling, and you already have your HTML code, and I've already built this project in my 100 projects as well. So if you want to check that out, first of all, we have our div with a class of main, then we have a div with a class of input. So we are going to be storing different kind of inputs in there, and then we have our h1 with a class of results. So we are going to be printing our results in there, and then we have our select options. So we have different kind of options right here, so plus, minus, division, multiplication. Then we have two inputs with the class of number 1 and number 2, and both of them will take that type of input, and placeholder will be number 1 and number 2. And then we have a div with the class of submit button, and then we just have one button with the ID of btn and the label of submit in there. And as a CSS, first of all, we have 100 pixel of height, and we are just centering everything. Background will be crimson, text will be white, and font will be sans serif. We are just getting a 5 pixel of padding for top and bottom, and left and right will be 0 text, and our alignment will be set to center. Input will be flex, everything will be flex, direction will be column. And then we have our input, border will be none, border radius will be 5, padding will be, we just comment that out, padding will be 1 rem at the top and bottom, and 10 rem for the left and right, and outline will be none, margin for bottom will be 10 pixel. For select option, we have margin bottom of 10 pixel, and padding of 10 pixel, and outline will be none, and we have a button, a little bit of styling for that button. Right click on it and open it with a live server, and this is how everything looks like. Okay, so now let's jump into our JavaScript and provide our interactivity to it. So first of all, let me just write my document dot get element by ID, and I want to get my button first of all, and I'm gonna just attach our event listener straight in. Okay, and for let's jump into our live server and provide write my I'm gonna just attach our event listener straight in. Okay, and let's just fire this function. Okay, let's just zoom out a bit, and first of all let's just get elements from the DOM. Zoom in a bit, and let's just get our elements. So like let num1 will be now equals to document dot query selector of dot or period num1, and we want to get a value straight away. And now let's just duplicate there and change this one to num2, and this one will be also num2. Then we have results, or result to be precise, and then we have a document dot query selector of result, like so. Then we have operator, operator of document dot what document dot get element by ID, or select op yeah, not t but just op, and we want to get the value of that one as well. So now we totally get elements from a DOM. And now let's just use our switch and cases, and you can use what do we call it, if and else statement if you want to, but in my case I'm going to just stick to the switch and cases. So the first case we have, if the operator is plus, so we want to just get the results, come on, result dot inner HTML will be now set to just plus and then num1. So this just simply means it will now convert one number or a string to just a number like so, and then we have a number to num2. Okay, first of all I will just write it that way, and then we will refactor our code. If that's a plus, so we want to just get that result. If the operator is not plus but it's minus, so we want to get a result for the minus. So instead of plus, I'm going to change that one to minus and break out from a loop. And then we have a case for the division, and then let's just place that to divide and also break out from it. And then we have another case for multiplication, so I'm going to just write multi in here, multi like so, and I'm going to pass this one right here and change that one to multiplication sign. Save our file, zoom out a bit, and now this is how it looks like. So we have a few statements like if the case is plus, so you want to change the result, the inner HTML, to just a number1 string and number2 string, and we are converting that string to a number, and we have an operator of plus, then we have minus, then we have division, and then we have multiplication right here. So now let's just check them out. So we have 2 and 2, and if you click on this submit, so it will now gives us 4. And if we change the operator to minus, and 2 minus 2 will give us 0, and then 2 divided by 2 will give us 1, 2 times 2 will give us 4. Okay, so everything is working the way we expect them to work. Now let's just try it on 10 and 10. Let's just try it on plus and 20 minus 0, and divide is 1, and times will be 100. Yeah, everything is working the way we expect them to work. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to select all of these numbers by holding Control and hitting D. I'm going to remove that, remove the other one as well, and now let's just put a plus right here. So it will also work the same, like it will also convert our string to a number. So let's just put a 2 and 2 in here, so 4, then we have 2 minus 2, then it will give us 0. 2 divided by 2 will give us 1, and 2 multiplied by 2 will give us 4. Everything is working the way we expect them to work. Alright, so now let's just start working on our final to-do application, and that's going to be the last project of our course. Okay, so right click on it and open it with live server, and there we go. We have our to-do list right here. Let's just change that one to to-do list. Okay, so collapse this head area. So first of all, we have our div with a class of container, then we have one form inside that container, and inside this form we just have one input with a class with a type of text and the placeholder of enter to do, and then outside from there we just have our to-dos container right here. Alright, so then we have a styling for reset, then we have margin, like the body will be totally crimson, the background. First of all, we have to get our elements from the DOM. So getting elements from the DOM. Let me just write a form first of all, and it will be now equals to document.query selector of form. Okay, so duplicate that a few times, so then we have our input, and then finally we have our to-dos. Okay, so change this variable names to be like input, and also this one to be to-dos like so. Alright, so now let's just create our function and give a name of like get to do, and let's just put a value inside that, and creating new elements. So first of all, we are going to be creating our new elements. So if you want to create new elements, so like to do in this case, we are going to be using document.create element, as we learned that just in a second, and we want to just create a simple div, and we want to also create our text element. So we are going to be using document.create element, and we are going to be just passing our span in there. Alright, so that's it for creating a to-dos. Oh, now let's just write setting values and style and styles for our text element. So I'm going to just write text element dot inner HTML, and it will be now equals to the value, whatever the value we provide, like value Alright, so now let's just append our element to the DOM. Okay, so we are going to be using to do dot append child. We are going to be using append child, child, like so, and then text element. Now let's just create our close button real quick, like let close element it will be now equals to document dot create element of span. This course is getting longer and longer, so that's why I'm just going a little bit of fast. Inner HTML will be now equals to this HTML entity. So first of all, we are going to be placing our and symbol, then we have our times, and then close it like so. And then we have a close element, close L dot class list. Let's just attach or add and delete class, delete, which we have right here inside our CSS, this delete class. And we also have a class for to do, which we created right here, this to do. All right, class it, which we have list and HTML create real quick, like to do element. All right, so now let's just append our element to the DOM. Okay, so we are going to be using to do dot append child. We are going to be using append child, child, like so, and then text element. Now let's just create our close button real quick, like that. Close element, it will be now equals to document dot create element of span. This course is getting longer and longer, so that's why I'm just going a little bit of fast. Inner HTML will be now equals to this HTML entity. So first of all, we are going to be placing our and symbol, then we have our times, and then close it like so. And then we have a close element, close L dot class list. Let's just attach or add and delete class, delete, which we have right here inside our CSS this delete class. And we also have a class for to do, which we created right here, this to do. All right, so save our file. Let's just attach or event listener to it. So attach events like so. And now let's just attach event listener on close element. And if you click on it, so add event, oh my god, event listener, oh my god, close element dot add event listener like so. Now if we click on it, so what do we have to do? We have to just create a function, and we want to get our object and to do's dot remove child, and we want to just remove that to do from it. If you click on that close element, and what else do we have to do? So we want to just write to do dot append child of close element. And we also want to just provide a class of add, and then the to do class which we've created right here. Okay, so then let's just return to do. Save our file, everything is working. Now let's just get our form that add event listener, and once that form is submitted, so then we want to get our element, our object, and let's just get our prevention, let's just set that to default. Let's just get our value and input dot value. So whatever we have our value, and then now let's just check if value dot rim, because we want to remove that empty spaces from there. So then we want to just return. In this case, we can also provide curly braces if you want to, and then to do's dot append child, and append child, let's just append or get to do of value to it, and input dot value will be now set to empty string and blah. We are now totally done with our project. So if you just write like blah, we are now totally done with our project. So if you just write like one, it will now give us that one right here with the styling. So if you just click on this X, so it will just remove it from our DOM. So we have one. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, and so on and so forth. And you can remove whichever kind of element you like, and everything is working the way we expect them to work. That was a lot of talking for me. I don't know how long I record this video, but that was a lot. of challenge, a huge challenge for me to record all of that video. Anyways, so I'm assuming and I hope that you learn enough about a DOM. And if you want to practice your skill, like if you want to learn more about a DOM, if you want to practice on a project, so I've got you covered. I have 100 projects, and I'm currently working on new projects to add on that playlist, so you can check out that if you want to learn more about HTML, CSS. So I've got a 16-hour plus course on that one with building 16 project by just using HTML and CSS. I have a SaaS course, I have different kinds of other courses, I have ECMAScript courses. You can just check out my YouTube channel and you can just learn a lot of stuff about JavaScript and Golang and all of these technologies. So thanks for watching, and that was it about the end of this course. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Was it and Golang and all of these technologies. So thanks for watching. Script courses, you can just check course with building 16 project by just using HTML and CSS. I have a SaaS course, I have different kinds of other courses, I have ECMAScript courses. You can just check out my YouTube channel and you can just learn a lot of stuff about JavaScript and Golang and all of these technologies. So thanks for watching, and that was it of Golang and all of these technologies. So thanks for watching, and that was it about the end of this course. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Stuff about animation. Hussein and Wokuri. Hey guys, Hussein and Wokuri YouTube channel. So we are going to be learning crazy amount of stuff about animation, but first of all, I want you to just come to this link, which is a greensock.com. If you want to type it manually, so you can. Otherwise, I'm gonna also give you this link in the description below, so you can learn more about that if you want to. But in this course, we are going to be learning about animations. So here you can see, if I click on that, it will give us a different kind of animation, and a lot of creative designer and a lot of creative people did very well job on this landing page. Okay, so you can learn more about that, and here you can check out some other great animation and stuff if you want to. But hey, we are going to be just learning the basics of it, and if you want to advance your skills, so this website will be the best friend for you. Okay, so if you want to learn more about that, feel free to do that. So before we getting into any of these stuff like GSAP stuff, so first of all I want to show you everything from the beginning, like how you would apply JavaScript animation, like a vanilla JavaScript animation without using GSAP. So we are going to be starting this course from the very beginning. So the description below, I'm going to give you a link which will bring you to my GitHub repository, and there you will find two folders, the start folder and the finish folder. So I'm going to launch the finish folder once this course is launched, and by the time you're watching this video you will find this start folder. So just open there and then download there, like you can go to my GitHub repository, then just download this folder. It's nothing but just a simple star file. So first of all, we are going to be learning about a JavaScript animation, just a vanilla JavaScript animation. After that, we are going to be learning about the tween set method, from and from to, staggers, controlling the tween timelines, and finally we are going to be building just a simple project, not that much huge, but just a simple project. Okay, so this is what we are going to be covering, and if you want to learn more like advanced stuff, so there are countless things you can do with this GSAP. Okay, so you can just search for that, like you can just search for anything you want, and it will give you that result, and you can play around with that. Anyway, so we are going to be started working on our starter file. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to open it, my Visual Studio Code. So it will now open that folder in my Visual Studio Code. My Visual Studio working on our starter file. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to open it, my Visual Studio Code. So it will now open that folder in my Visual Studio story coded. So what I'll do, I'm gonna just open this folder, and I have three files right here. So the first file I have, let me just zoom in a bit. So the first file I have is their index.html file, then we have style.css file, and then we have app.js file. So we don't have no content, nothing inside there. So what I'll do, I'm gonna just start from the very beginning. So I'll just write doc type HTML in lowercase. Come on, Jose. Doc type HTML, just a boilerplate, and I'm gonna just write like, I don't know, JS animation maybe. And now let's just link it with our CSS file, and also let's just link it with our JavaScript file as well. I'm gonna hide this head area because we don't need that. Now let me just create a section with the class of sidebar, and now inside this sidebar I'm gonna just write ul li, and I am going to just duplicate that maybe 4 times. So let me just write 4, and boom. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just do a multiple cursor selection, and I'm gonna just write a pound symbol, and I'm gonna write a home and about. After that, we are going to be writing our projects, and finally let me just write a context section. Okay, so now let's just write I don't know, div with a class of center will be fine, and I'm going to just put my button in. So I'm going to write a click in here, and now if you save a file, right click on it and open it with live server. So it will now open this HTML file in a live server. Just in a second. Okay, it's taking a bit of time. Oh, come on, open it. Yep, there we go. So finally we have our star HTML file right here inside our browser. So now let me just get into the styling, and now let me just write a little bit of styling. So first of all, I'm gonna just write my resets, like padding will be 0, margin will be 0, box sizing, I'm gonna give him like box sizing of board box. So now let me just save that. Yep, everything is working. So what I'll do, I'm gonna just change the color of the background to be something like I don't know, maybe 1B, 1B, 1B would be fine. And now if you save there, yeah, this is kind of professional black color. It's not totally black color, but it is something in that shade. Anyway, so let me just get my section with the class of sidebar. So this is the section which I'm talking about right here, and I'm gonna just give him a height of like 100 VH, and the width will be 20%. Okay, so I'm gonna also give him a background of like, I don't know, 29 will be fine if we save that. And now here you can see that sidebar right here. Okay, so I'll also provide a position of fixed to it. If you scroll, so you want to scroll this sidebar with us, so I'm going to write a flex, and justify control will be center, align items will be also totally center, and I'm going to also provide a little bit of transition to it, not duration but transition of 1 second and ease. Okay, so if you save that, and yeah, this is how it looks like. So now let's just take care of the other stuff very quickly. So I'm gonna just write a class for myself. Oh, you know what, let me just do that a bit later. I'm gonna write ul li, and I'm going to also provide an anchor tag in here as well. So I'm gonna just select my anchors. Oh, you know what, I'm gonna remove this anchor tag from here. Now let me just select my ul li, and I'm gonna just remove that list style of none. So I'm going to also provide a little bit of margin for the bottom, like 10 pixel would be fine. And now if you save there, and boom, this is how it looks like right here. Anyways, now let me just get my ul li and also the anchor tag in this case. So I'm going to just write text decoration of none. The font size, I'll just increase that to like 1.2 rems, and font family will be totally sans serif as usual, and color will be totally pure white. So if you save that, and yeah, this is looking better. Now let's just take care of this center. Save that totally font. How it looks, margin for the bottom. I'm gonna just I'm gonna anchor to the quickly. If you save the transition to it, not align this side. So I also give 100. This is the anyway, so totally like working. I'm gonna give him like box sizing of board box. So now let me just save be 0 box sizing. I'm gonna give him like box sizing of board box. So now let me just save that. Yep, everything is working. So what I'll do, I'm gonna just change the color of the background to be something like I don't know, maybe 1B 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 would be fine. And now if you save there, yeah, this is kind of professional black color. It's not totally black color, but it is something in that shade. Anyway, so let me just get my section with the class of sidebar. So this is the section which I'm talking about right here, and I'm gonna just give him a height of like 100 VH, and the width will be 20%. Okay, so I'm gonna also give a background of like, I don't know, 29 will be fine if we save that. And now here you can see that sidebar right here. Okay, so I'll also provide a position of fixed to it. If you scroll, so you want to scroll this sidebar with us, so I'm going to write a flex, and justify counter will be center. Align items will be also totally center, and I'm going to also provide a little bit of transition to it, not duration but transition of 1 second and ease. Okay, so if you save that, and yeah, this is how it looks like. So now let's just take care of the other stuff very quickly. So I'm going to just write a class for myself, or you know what, let me just do that a bit later. I'm going to write ul li, and I'm going to also provide an anchor tag in here as well. So I'm going to just select my anchors, or you know what, I'm going to remove this anchor tag from here. Now let me just select my ULLI, and I'm going to just remove that list style of none. So I'm going to also provide a little bit of margin for the bottom, like 10 pixel would be fine. And now if you save there, and boom, this is how it looks like right here. Anyways, now let me just get my UL, and boom, this is how it looks like right here. Anyways, now let me just get my UL, LI, and also the anchor tag in this case. So I'm going to just write text declaration of none. The font size, I'll just increase that to like 1.2 rems, and font family will be totally sans serif as usual, and color will be totally pure white. So if we save that, and yeah, this is looking better. Now let's just take care of this center button. So we have div, inside this div we have a center button right here. So now let me just take care of that real quickly. So I'll just make it centered so that you can see it in a center. So I'm going to write a display of totally flex. Justify counter will be now set to center. Alignment will be also set to center, and height I'm going to give like 100 VH. So if you save that, boom, we have our button right here. So now let's just take care of the styling of that button. So I'm going to just write center, and let me just get my button inside there. I'm going to provide a padding of 10 pixel for top and bottom, 20 pixel for left and right. Font size will be set to 1 rem, and border, let me just remove remove that ugly border from it. So if you save that, so yeah, this is looking better. So now let me just take care of the colors and stuff a bit. I'm gonna just write a background of I don't know, FFA31A. This is going to be the background color, and the text color will be totally white, and cursor will be pointed. So if you save that, yeah, I know it's not looking that much cool, but hey, we just want to work with a JavaScript animation. So yeah, okay, so we write this class right here. So we style this sidebar right here, but now let me just create a class for myself, which allows us to hide this sidebar, like hide and unhide this sidebar once we click on that button. So now let me just write the class for ourselves. So I'm going to just write hide. You can give him any name you like you can give him unhide class or toggle class, whatever you want, but in my case I'm going to just give him a class name of hide, and the transformation will be now set to translate to the x-axis of -230 pixel. Okay, so if you just save our file, nothing will happen. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to just put this class right here for a second. So if you save that, boom, that's gone. And here you can also see, so you know what, instead of this 230, I'm going to write 340 would be fine. And yeah, that's totally gone from there as well. Anyway, so that's looking better. Now let's get into our JavaScript and provide our interactivity to it. So we are not going to be writing that much JavaScript, but first of all, we are going to be just selecting our button and sidebar. So I'm going to write cons and then sidebar, and it will be now equals to document dot query selector of sidebar. Okay, and I'm going to also select my button as well. So I'm going to write document dot query selector of button. Okay, so let me just get both of them. I'm going to write a button of add event listener, because once we click on this button, so what do we want to do? We want to just fire this function. So what is that? So inside this function, I'm going to just write sidebar dot class list, and we want to just toggle this class which we have created right here. Okay, so I'm going to just write toggle and hide. Okay, so if you save our file, and now if I click on this button, and here you can see this is our simple JavaScript animation, but it took a lot of time to write this animation. But trust me, if you are using some sort of a JavaScript library like GSAP, so it will be like very easy to work with. Okay, so this is a lot of coding right here, so you still have very easy to work with. Okay, so this is a lot of coding right here, so you still have to write that code. I'm not saying that you will not write this styling, you will write that styling, but hey, that was just a JavaScript, simple vanilla JavaScript animation I want to show you. And now let me just get into the tween, like what a tween is and all of that kind of good stuff. So here you can see inside this folder we have three files. So we have index.html file, we have app.js file, we also have the style.css file as well. So we have a little bit of styling right here, and we just have our boilerplate right here, but I'm gonna remove this CDN because I want to show you everything from scratch. Okay, so we don't have nothing, so I'm gonna open this folder, I mean like in this file in a live server, and here you can see we have a blank screen right here, nothing, no content, nothing inside there. Anyways, so what I will do, I'm gonna hide this head area, and I've already attached that to my style sheet right here. So I'm gonna hide that head area right here, and what I'll do, I'm gonna just write section with a class of container. Inside this container we will just have our simple box. So if you just save our file, and here you can see that styling applied to it. So that styling is coming from the style sheet right here. So we just have or a little bit of reset, then we are just centering it right here, and here you can see that styling applied to it. So So their styling is coming from the style sheet right here. So we just have or a little bit of reset. Then we are just centering everything inside this container. We are changing the background, and we are also just styling our box a little bit. And this is how it will looks like right here. So the main focus of this course will be on a GSAP, not on a CSS. We are working up I think this we have I'm not script. This is high. We of not going to be writing that much JavaScript, but first of all, we are going to be part of a selector. pseudocode which I'm writing right here. Let me just zoom in a bit so you guys can see everything. First of all, we have to work with a gsap object. Then we are going to be attaching some method. Like this gsap have a lot of method which we can use. So we are going to be using some sort of a method, and then we are going to be selecting some sort of an element like h1, or I don't know if you're using like I don't know, selector, class selector, or if you're using id, so you just write a pound symbol and then id selector, whatever you have. So in my case, I'm gonna just put the element right here. Okay, and then we have a was object in which we are going to be doing most of our work. So this is just a pseudo element. So now let's learn about a gsap.to method. So I'm gonna just write gsap dot, let me just write gsap, come on, and then I'm gonna just access my to method inside that gsap object. And here I said like we have to specify some sort of an element right there. So first of all, we are going to be specifying our element. So what is the name of our element? In this case, the name of our element is this box right here, because we want to animate this box. So what do we have to do? I'm going to just write period and box, just a css selector, like a class selector. And after that, what I will do, I'm going to provide my vars object. Trust me, this stuff is not hard, but at first it will look a little bit of confusing. So I'll just write like, I don't know, I'm going to just write y and 100. So if I just write y100, if we save a file, and here you can see it will just push it to the y-axis right here. Okay, so if I change that to the x, and now if you save there, and here you can see it will now push it to the x-axis right here. So if you also want to provide a duration, so we can also just provide the duration. So duration of maybe 2 seconds. So you don't have to specify the s inside there, as you do in a css, but you just have to write 2. And now if you save a file, and let me just refresh that one more time, and here you can see it will move our element to the x-axis in 2 seconds. So it will just take 2 seconds as a duration. And you can also provide like a yo-yo property, or you know, You know what, let me just show you the repeat. So let me just write repeat. Okay, so repeat will be now set to like -1. If I just write -1, and now if we save that, and this animation will happen again and again like infinity time. So now let me just explain. This animation will happen again and again like infinity time. So now let me just explain this coding. So what is this? This x means like transform to the x-axis, transform to the x-axis like 100 pixel. Okay, so you can just specify the symbol pixel, or you can also provide a negative value if you want to. So if I just specify the negative 100, and now if we save that, it will just push it to the negative side right here. If I just remove this negative from there, it will just push it right there. Okay, so at the positive direction. So this is a shorthand for writing like a translate to the x-axis and stuff. So we just have x, and we also have a y. So if I just write y to like 2000 maybe, so if you save our file, and here you can see it will just push it right here to the bottom. Okay, so this stuff will take a little bit of time, so I'm going to just remove. this x-axis, save our file. Here you can see it will just repeat our animation. That's because of this repeat -1. So if I just remove that and if I just put like 2, if we save our file, so 1 and 2, and our animation, okay, so that was the second one, so animation will stop working right here. So that's just a simple stuff you can work with this GSAP2 object. So I forgot to show you like what a GSAP2 object is. So this two method is the most common type of animation in the GSAP. So these two methods allow you to define the destination object, and most of the people think in terms of animating to a certain value. So you can think about that if you want to. But hey, we learn about our first object. So now let me just close all of these files, and now let me just get into the set methods. So I'm going to open my HTML, CSS, and also also the JavaScript files as well. And here you can see we just have link to our CSS file, and we just have link for our G7. Right here, so I'm gonna just hide this head area from there, and I'm gonna write that container in box one more time. So I'm gonna write container and also a box. So if you save that, and here you can, okay, so we have to launch it first of all.